Can they come this way? Or are you getting me? It is a pleasure to be with you today. But before I start to talk or to tell you what I'm about to tell you, that when we came in, I'm not happy. You note it down why I'm not happy. When we came, we didn't get one of you at the airport. And it was supposed 2 or 3 of you to be there because you were notified earlier that the ambassador is coming. And the ambassador here is the symbol of your country here. And when Kir Mayadit is visiting an area and nobody there in the airport, what feeling can he have? So you should be there because your ambassador is coming to visit you. And it is a concern for him to come and see you. It is very great. Well, we are here. It is not the first time. It is the first time for me, but it is not the first time for him. But we have been to Chennai a week ago. We visited them. And now you are the second people to be visited. And we may go to other places where our students are studying. It is our concern because you are our national. And that is the mandate of our embassy, to see where our nationals are and then to protect the interests of our country. We are here because of our interests. And you and we in the embassy, we are the people to promote that interest. You are here as our ambassadors. Don't put into your mind that Ambassador Daniel is the only ambassador. You are also ambassadors because you are the people telling the people of this country about us. We are a new country and we were not known, but we should be known through you, nobody else. So please don't ignore that area. When you are moving in this area, being a student here, within the course of time, you may be brought to India as an ambassador. Nobody was born an ambassador. It is a process. Those days, we were a student, but we are now today a government official. You will be a government official tomorrow. Salva Kiir Mayardit may come among you and some ambassadors. Please, you try to promote our interests, our image, protect us. You are here to do what's supposed Daniel to do or I myself to do. What I am emphasizing is this. Try to respect the regulation of the school. I will repeat. Try to respect the regulation of the school. Try to respect the cultures of the indigenous of this country. You try to respect everyone you meet with him or with her on the street or in the school. Pretend to be a priest. Because our colleague, our brother from the north, they damage our image. They were saying that we cannot rule ourselves, we are not known. And even now, I think so in your school, when somebody asks you, where do you come from? When you tell him or her South Sudan, he will tell you Sudan. Unless you repeat it again, South Sudan. Because when you tell him or her South Sudan, he will say Sudan. Please try to differentiate between Sudan and South Sudan and show a good attitude. Number 3, respect yourself. Among you here, you see your brother like yourself. Because I don't know that there's somebody who does not like himself. I love myself. And I think so you love yourself. And if you love yourself, you love your brother. See him like you. The unity will start from you here. When you see yourself as one person, then now you are going to promote the image of South Sudan. You are a student today. Tomorrow you will be the people, we will be the official. And therefore, you start unity. The issue of diversity should start from you. The issue of that I'm from a certain tribe, I'm coming from there and here, you try to rule it out. If we have a disease, if we are affected by tribalism, nepotism, whatever, you believe, you try to kill it out among you. Try to be one. Our hope is on you. You see somebody who is starting, it will not be like somebody who is finishing. We got our independence yesterday, and we are here, moving there and here. We may be committing a lot of problems, a lot of mistakes, but we don't want you to fall into those. We don't want you to fall into those mistakes. And therefore, everyone, from our leader, Salva Kiir, to the last person, our hope is on you. Because we are existing. We are moving aside. But who is coming in? Can you tell me who is coming in? If we are moving aside, who is coming in? It is you. And therefore, please try to create a good environment, a conducive atmosphere of togetherness. It will make you, give you success. You will succeed in your education. Let me come to the conflict which has been mentioned by your chairperson. He had mentioned so many things when we were there. But the rest of the thing I will leave it for the ambassador to answer. But I will talk about the conflict. Because my professional is a soldier, I'm a soldier. The conflict which has erupted this year, December, and we are now approaching December, we may be having 12 years, full 1 year. We are killing ourselves for no reason. It is a senseless war. It has no objective. And therefore, that's why I mentioned before that if we are wrong, please, you develop an area of correcting all the mistakes. It is because we came from a very from different backgrounds. But otherwise, people can box themselves in the parliament, but nothing will take the army. Nothing will make the army to fight. And whoever wanted to lead this country, you should not come in through the barrel of the gun. We fought for 21 years, that is SPLA. But those who fought before us fought for 17 years, from 55 to 72. We were subjected to fight. We were not born people to try to get their right through violence. No. But we were subjected to. We were forced to. That's why we fought for almost 47. When you 17 years plus 21 to 22 years, make 39 years. It is because of rather denied us from the north. That's why we fought to get our right. Because if you ask your right and you are denied, then there is no another option unless you resort to violence. But now, we got our independence. Why are we fighting? If you wanted to rule this country, you just wait. Wait for the election to come. It is just 4 years, and then people will go for election. If the people of South Sudan elected you, then there is no question. Nobody will be denied. And there is no any tribe in South Sudan saying that we are the people to rule this country. No, we are equal. A capable person can come from a tribe composed of 100 people. And there are communities. Maybe you make assessment or a statistic, they can be Lobiga Katir, they can be 200 per kiloko per year. These are the small tribe. If a good person come up from them and is capable to rule this country, he can rule. People can elect him. Our government is controlling all the areas. All the areas in South Sudan, we are controlling it. Negotiation is going on, and the good thing is that I'm talking with landed people, those who know who is going on, because you are connected with internet. You are connected into internet. You know what is in the net. What I'm telling you should not be new. You know it already. We are given 15 days for more consultation. SPLM in opposition and the government of South Sudan. 14 days may finish on 27 this month, and people will go back. I cannot predict what is going to come out, because the opposition group will come with their position paper. The government of South Sudan will come with their position paper. The two position papers will be tabled, and the negotiators will see. And then all of us, we will learn what is going to come out. I will not tell you, because I will be a liar. So negotiation is going on. You are well aware. A small problem which we are, there is a build-up of Sudan armed forces at the border of Raja. And you had a week ago that the Antonov of Sudan bombed the area of Raja, killing 35 people and wounded a number. They also bombed Maban. They injured like 7 people and like 4 people dead. These are skirmishes between us and the Sudan government. But on our side, until now, people are trying to respect the cessation of hostilities which has been signed, I think so, 4 times. And it is being violated by the opposition group. The main problem from the opposition group, 3/4 of their army, they don't have discipline because they are not trained in the military garrisons. There are people from villages. Riek mobilize them and arm them. They don't have this military discipline. You see somebody who is carrying a gun, you should be taught, because the gun you are carrying, it is very dangerous. Dangerous to yourself, leave alone somebody else. And therefore there must be regulation, there must be laws governing that gun. But people from Luakat, from villages, when you tell them don't do this, and goes away, submits from where you gave him instruction, he goes and do different things. But be well assured that we are still holding the whole of South Sudan. It is under our control. Oil field is under our control. They tried those months, but they were defeated. So please, I will give a chance to our ambassador, because there are so many points to answer. And those points were brought in by your chairperson. I think so these are your problems. These are the challenges which are facing you here. So the ambassador will answer them. What I can add is that when we were in Chennai, this issue of dollar now, as I'm now before you, it is between 5 point something or 6 point something. It is fluctuating. Dollar is always appreciating. Those who are doing economics will know the word of appreciation. Dollar is always appreciating, and our pound is differentiating. So dollar is up. And when we were in Chennai, those of Chennai, they raised a point that their parents are getting a lot of difficulties in terms of getting dollar. So the issue of, because now those who are in East Africa, Uganda, Kenya, our local currency, that is pound, you can go to the bank in East Africa there. But Daniel took the lead when we were there, that when he goes to Juba, he will present this issue to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because you see, you have where to channel your report. You cannot go to the bank, and you cannot go to the Ministry of Education, and you cannot go to the Parliament to raise your case. But there is a department within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs whereby somebody like Ambassador Daniel will present this case, because this is the reason now why are we coming, why are we visiting your areas, to tell you about the conflict which is going on and what are your problems. And the issue of dollar become paramount, the problem of you here. So Daniel will take this issue and he will throw the ball to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Minister of Foreign Affairs will go to the Minister of Education, provided that one of you came on his own. But at the end of the day, you are our children. And the government of South Sudan should take lead of solving your problem. So your case will be presented if the government of South Sudan talk with the bank and the bank considered this request well and good. So it will be the number of you here, and I hope Daniel will elaborate more. The number of you should give the list, your list, all over. I heard before that you are 60 something. That list will be given to Daniel, and if Daniel goes there, he will present it. And don't put hope that our ambassador took our lead and this thing will come out. No, it will be negotiated in the process. And we put our hope that to succeed. So please, I will stop here. And if there is a question later on, you will be given a room after the ambassador. All of you will be given a room. If there is a question concerning what I have told you, I will answer it. It will be directed to me. And thank you very much.
Please allow us to welcome our ambassador to come out and address some of the issues we are preparing to address and some of his own issue on the mission he is on in Pune. So allow us to welcome Agibam Ekla, please.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Very good evening to you all. I'm glad that I'm seeing a sizable number of students here, more than I've seen when I came to Pune almost a year ago or 1.5 years ago. So I'm glad to see you here. Before I go ahead, I have to echo the sentiments which have been expressed by General Dut that perhaps we might have not been very happy when we arrived at the airport of Pune and could not even see one of you. I thought it is two ways. When I come to visit you, at least you should also receive me. But it's okay. Perhaps you do not have the notice on time, or maybe you do not have transport to come to the airport. I understand. Now, I have come to you at this point in time to give a strong support to all of you in your education, and also to console some of you who might have lost relatives in the conflict that erupted in the Republic of South Sudan from on the 15th of December 2013. We are very sorry for all that has happened, and I think you all understand that perhaps the people of South Sudan do not like this unnecessary conflict, because otherwise, as human beings, all that took us to arms would have been resolved on the table, and the government was open to resolve these issues. Otherwise, some people hurried it to the bottom of the gun, which is very unfortunate. But now that it has happened, what next? What next is that we have to sit and reconcile as brothers and sisters and go back to where we started. We started together to liberate our country. We started together to develop our country. By what we are doing now, we are destroying completely what we have built together. And common sense will say, there's no need for that. I'm not going to dwell on that much because a lot of input has been put into this by General Duke. Nevertheless, I thought I should emphasize this point, that the war which happened in South Sudan in December 2013 was uncalled for. It's unnecessary. It is not in the best interest of people in South Sudan. We have to stop it now. And our government is doing its utmost best in the negotiations which is taking place in Addis Ababa to bring peace promptly into South Sudan so that more lives cannot be lost. Having said that, I'm very sorry that I have not come to you on time. But you would understand that as an ambassador of a country, there are so many issues in my hand. One of them, of course, is to look after the nationals of my country in the host country, which is India. And my nationals in India happen to be students, which I respect very much. And that's why I am making a round to all the states of India, as I say, before people go to Christmas holidays, to just stretch a shoulder to all of you in support of your education and other things. I've been to Chennai last week. That was the first leg of my tour. I was impressed, although I was dismayed in one way or another with what I heard there. I was impressed because the Senate of the University of Wales praised our students too much, that they have settled in their education, they are well behaved, and they are excelling very well. They are exemplary. Except there was one thing that they told us which I was not impressed about, in that despite the fact that they behave well, there were quarrels, fights among themselves. And we happen to have digested that so much, we have talked about it, we have dissolved it, and I hope they will not repeat it again. Other issues which came in our discussions are problems. The problems mostly of financial constraints. They said, as it has been raised, it's one of the points which has been raised by your association, that because of the conflict which erupted in South Sudan, money has become very difficult to come from your parents from Juba. And I understand, yes, because nowadays some people might have lost their jobs, some of your parents might have lost their jobs. Some people are getting very hard to have access to the dollar because the dollar has become very expensive. And because there is no earning, you cannot get a dollar. And therefore, it has affected your education. What I have heard in Chennai was that they put this case across the board of the Senate of University of Wales, in that they are finding a lot of difficulties for money to come on time. So the university has accepted them to continue with their education, with their exams, until the money comes. Noteworthy that the money for the school fees for the year must be paid within the year. It might be in the middle of the year, it might be towards the end of the year. But it cannot be taken for granted that there is no payment. Payment must be made, although it might be late. So that one has been accepted. Another thing is, because there is no money in their hands completely, they cannot even help themselves with emergency health problems. Even if somebody has the diarrhea, he might not get Imodium today. He might not get Flagyl, which can actually be bought on the counter and can stop his diarrhea. I understand. But I came prepared when I left Delhi. I knew the situation of the students, and I have decided that I have to support your students' associations, the student associations in 5 big universities: Chennai, Bangalore, Pune, Punjab, and Noida. Maybe number 6 now is going to be Hyderabad, because we have received over 100 students at once to Hyderabad University. You might have heard about it. But I think those ones are well financed. So I came prepared to assist you in a small way by giving your association and other associations in all the states at least 50,000 rupees to start with. This money is just a start. You will put it into your account, open an account of the association, the student association in Pune, and then on monthly basis, if it is applicable, if you can contribute as members of association at least 10 rupees, 20 rupees, and add it to that. What will it help? It will help in solving small primary things, primary illnesses, emergencies. Somebody gets a burn. You need a taxi to take him to the hospital. You need a taxi to buy some drips. You need money to buy some drips, to put a ring to replace the fluids which have been lost through the burn. This little money, the association will document it, and you will be told in your meeting that at this occasion this happened, we took this out, we did this, the receipts must be kept. Year by year, I will also endeavor to assist these unions. If there is something which comes into the embassy as money for services, services must shower on you. I have to save you. I have to save you in this small way. Although really we do not have much, but there is no way in which I can allow a student from South Sudan to suffer to death because of illness. Money must always be found for such kind of purposes, provided that it is common sense. Yes, although it is little, it will go a long way. As for any help that would have come to individual students to help in school fees, I must categorically say it is difficult, because the number of South Sudanese students now in India is almost going to over 1,000. And there is no money, frankly speaking, that can help you to subsidize your school fees. Nevertheless, in Chennai, I have promised to transport at least 5 students from within you, give them tickets to go to South Sudan to talk to the Ministry of Higher Education about your problems. Problems of your school fees, problems of you being assisted with finances, like our students in East Africa, like our students in Ethiopia, like our students in Egypt. Why not? Although you have come through your parents' money, maybe your parents are not working now. You are like any normal person. And therefore, being a citizen of the Republic of South Sudan, and for the fact that your education is for South Sudan, it is mandatory that the leadership in South Sudan should assist you in one way or another. On this note, Chennai has selected 3 people. They've already been sent to my office. The photocopies of their passports have been sent to my office. When I came back from Chennai, I asked my staff for a meeting, and I briefed them of what actually transpired in my visit to Chennai. And one of them was this: the office must support the students, give them tickets to go and talk about their own problems themselves, because they will spend more time in South Sudan than I would have spent in South Sudan. And these things of running after problems of students might take even 2 weeks. So they advise that we've agreed that the students should not come from one university. We have to stretch across the board by selecting one in Bangalore, 2 in Pune, and accept the 3 who have been brought by Chennai. I think The tickets of Chennai have already been processed, but your tickets can be processed at any time. You nominate your 2 people. It is going and coming, and this must be happening. Those Chennai are living on the 8th, and you would understand that during Christmas people go for Christmas, and you must be in Juba within from the 10th at least to the 15th to meet the Minister of Higher Education. As you go to Juba, you'll be taking a coverage letter from the Embassy of the Republic of South Sudan in India, signed by myself, trying to outline what I have heard from you. It might not be elaborative, but it will spell out the key issues which you have raised. So I ask you and your association to nominate 2 people to add to the group that has been nominated by Chennai. The condition is that some of you might have problems with FRRO. And this has not been resolved. And I would not like anybody who is having a visa problem to leave India because he will not be allowed to come back. And therefore, his education will be put at jeopardy. It is not in my best interest to do that. You have to select those who have clean passports, clean visas. And your association will forward them to me even tomorrow. If you have decided, you can give me the photocopies of their passports I take with me. Tuesday you will have your tickets according to the date you've chosen to go and date you have chosen to come. Having said this, I thought this would have been the best way that I can solve this problem, because if there is a failure in you being given subsistence allowance or you being given a person, I also demanded a cultural attaché for education based at the Embassy of the Republic of South Sudan in India to look after your problems. Because your problems seems to be expanding as you expand in numbers. Therefore, because I'm looking after so many problems, I cannot focus on the issue of students. Although there is a government who is in charge of the education file, education and culture now at the ministry, in the name of Mr. Gir Tor Ngor, is the one who should have come to meet you and know about your problems. But I thought it is high time that I should come to listen to you, and thereafter you might not see me for a bit of long time because he will be the one who will be coming from time to time. But there are certain occasions when I have to be here myself, and these are very serious occasions. I don't want to talk about them because they must be serious problems, and you will find me here. I will come to sort them out. But if things go on normally, routine normal visits will be done by a unit development, not the ambassador. And you must appreciate this. And this will give you a chance to be visited from time to time. That's okay. Therefore, financial help to individuals cannot be attained. But the embassy will always help in case of dire situations, mostly of sickness. Not any other thing helps. We can write a letter, if needs be, to your institutions outlining the situation in our country. And it is up to them to accept that explanation or not. I'm not going to force or bend the laws of the universities of India. I must appreciate and thank the Minister of Education of this country that they have opened their doors to welcome you to their universities, and they are treating you well. And therefore, you should reciprocate. They have shown good behavior to you, you must show good behavior to them. This goes back to what has been mentioned by General Dut about cultures. You have your own cultures. We are tribes in South Sudan. We have our own cultures which we exhibit and which we want people to respect. Likewise, you should respect the cultures of India. Cultures of Indian people. Do not trespass. Do not go against it. Do not touch on what they do not want you to touch. You must respect yourself so that you are respected. It is happening with the African students alike that they are always in conflict, especially the males and the females. They go into conflict, our African students, they intend to encroach on the females of this country. In the streets, does not happen here. If you touch that, then you touch a rail line. It's not good. They can even kill you, because that behavior is not seen in this community. A lot of things might be happen indoors, but not on the streets. So please, my good people of South Sudan, respect this, because you will predispose yourself to problems. We, as ambassadors of Africa in Delhi, we have our own association that we meet every month and try to put across the problems of our students in India. All of you are facing problems, especially the problems with passports and visas, and the problems of causing fights in the state which lock you into prisons and interfere with your education. Please keep away from that. It is important that you respect yourself. You know where you came from. You came from a country that needed your education. And the country needs your education in the shortest possible time for you to participate in development of the young nation. Time wasted is never gained. I don't want you to waste time on that. Therefore, you should focus on your education, solely on your education. I'm very sorry that lack of money is interfering with your concentration in your studies. But you must understand that this is not your making. It has been imposed on all of us. And therefore, we have to bear with it a little bit. By the turn of the year, I'm 100% sure that peace will come to our country and things will go very normal again. And you'll be happy. Thank you. Yes. These are the things which have been put by your association. The association requests direct contact with me directly. Yes, why not? If you go to South Sudan Embassy in India, you will have our website there, our email is there. You will have maybe the numbers of the embassy. But if you want my direct mobile, I will always give it to you, because there might be a situation that I can help on phone. If you call me today, that Daniel, there is this and this happening, I will contact the authorities concerned. Like 3 days ago, there was a minister of one of the states who came to India on the 1st of November. He wanted to leave India on the 16th of November, and he was carrying mobile, which is known as the Soria. Soria is a big mobile. There are a lot of information in it. Then he was caught in Bangalore International Airport. The Minister of Foreign Affairs wrote to me an email through our email. And the Embassy of India from Juba phoned me on direct mobile, my direct mobile, that Daniel, can you assist? The minister has been arrested in Bangalore. We want his immediate release. Yes. The channels we do is that we have to go through the Minister of Foreign Affairs, because we are here under the Minister of Foreign Affairs of India. And I put the case through by phone, then automatically he got released. He should now be in Juba. So these are occasions where you can also benefit from. If you have somebody in a hospital, somebody critically ill in the hospital, the best way is to call me, and I will act on that. So my number, my personal mobile number, I will leave it with your chairman, provided that you must appreciate that I should sleep. You must appreciate that I should sleep to have a sound mind to go to work in the morning. Because if you keep talking to me throughout the night, I'm not going to sleep, and I will not concentrate on the issues of the country. So please, do not abuse my mobile. It's not fun. It's not fun, it's business. You see? You got to talk to me on things which are of business nature. Well, I welcome conversations, but it's not important at this point in time when we mean serious kind of business. And and the position which I'm holding also. You see, you talk to me things which concern yourself, Daniel, I will automatically act. There's no way that I can keep quiet and leave you to suffer. Or you get caught in the airport. I can always talk to the people in the airport about what is happening to you. But again, you must know that I'm not here to bend the laws of this country. And therefore, all of us, you and myself, we got to respect the laws of this country. Failure to respect the laws of this country, we can all be locked in. So please, respect the laws of immigration in particular in this country. Respect the norms and the morals of the people of this country. Respect yourself. I don't want you to be going around doing bad things. Some newspapers, in Punjab in particular, as discussed in our meeting as ambassadors of African embassies, were saying that the African students, when they come to this country, they come as drug pushers. In other words, in simple English, you come to sell drugs. You are not coming for education. This is not happening with South Sudanese. I must categorically tell the people that this is not seen within my people. But you never know. You are in a community of evildoers. And if you are not very careful, you can be subjected to such kind of bad deeds, and you become the victim of what you do not know. So please keep away from those things. Another thing that your boss wanted embassy to do is to find placements in South Sudan for students who are about to complete the law degrees and the students who are also in the field of finance, to be attached to the Bank of South Sudan, so that they learn something before they come to their final year. That is actually work placement, or might be to some extent in Europe, it's called year out. You are given a year out to do some practicalities or do some practical things, then you come back to complete your bachelor's degree. That could be done, but it is going to be done through the Ministry of Higher Education, not any other way around. And these are one of the things that your delegation to South Sudan should put in black and white, and put it across to the Minister of Higher Education as they meet him. The Minister of Education is a very nice guy. He has been an ambassador with me to Turkey. He knows me very well. And he will appreciate that I am visiting you also on his behalf and picking up your problems and take to him. So this is one thing that you should mention. The other thing that came, yes, embassy should coordinate with the Central Bank of South Sudan so that your parents, with the performance invoice of your payment, fees payment here, are given an opportunity to have access to the dollar, which they can change for your school fees in the bank rate. That one, I think it can be done. Everybody is doing it now. Children, people who are having kids in East Africa, they bring the performance invoice from the school. This money gets approved. They look for South Sudan pounds, and they go to the bank to change it at the rate which is about 2.99, not 6 in the black market. So I think that is possible. It's also one of the things that you should take to Juba. Your delegation should take to Juba and discuss with the Minister of Higher Education, because it is going to be done through that. These are all your problems. If I miss up something, it's okay, but I had something to add. When I was in Chennai, I was informed that Chennai is a football team, maybe a football team, and also a basketball team. And therefore, they needed some assistance from the embassy. I have agreed to this. I have agreed to this, and because I know sports is what brings people together. Like the situation in which we've been put into because of conflict, there seems to be division within yourself, especially on ethnic lines. I think sports, when you play together, it can go a long way to unite you. Therefore, I agree to you suggesting what type of sports that you can do. The Chennai students, there is inter-college kind of competition in which they beat even India, they beat Nigeria, they beat Sudan. Very good. I'm waiting for them to tell me what do they want to buy, small things for their sports, and if there is any little money, we can subsidize that. We might not be able to pay all that they will put on this one, but I will look into the list and see what are the basic needs for the sports to go on, and I will put some money towards that. I have not been informed about any problem in Pune with FRRO. That's fine, that's very good news, but also be careful, because this can make your life very hard. They will be on you from time to time. Coming nuisance is not nice. In Chennai, I was informed that about 3 students have lost their passports. It's not good news to hear, because passport is the document that keeps you in this country. And you need to have it from time to time, not to go into conflict with the immigration authorities, or precisely with the police on the streets. If you are caught and asked, where are you from? I'm from South Sudan. You might have a card of your university. But your identity, the identity which you are saying you are from South Sudan, should be actually traced to that passport. And if you become careless and lose them, then it's not responsibility. You are mature enough to be responsible. The passport must be taken care of. It's a document which is good, which is important for all of us. We are in a foreign country. We are not in South Sudan, where people will say, I'm X and Y, I come from this state, and somebody, my relative is this. Okay, fine, we can say, yes, we know that you are there. But Indians do not know who are you. You are just like any other African student. It is the passport that differentiates you from them. So you have to be very careful about that. I think I have talked on what has been given to me by the association. Perhaps there might be more information, more questions that might come from you, but be mindful that time is also maybe against us. So you have to be concise. I don't know how many questions can be accepted, but you will determine. I don't determine that. You determine how many chances does you want to give. And I must stop here. Thank you very much for listening. And I will answer questions that might arise. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador Victor Daniel Okal, for all the narration may have elaborated on, and we appreciate the money we give to our association as a kind of support, 50,000. I believe we would have given him more clap than the first time. Actually, we are going to give a chance. Maybe we will take 3 to 4 people. That's the only thing. But I would also have to explain the small thing that our ambassador has talked. The other issue are all our challenges, as I mentioned, and our committee said on it because there were a limit of time. The only thing we have included is that we request a direct contact with ambassador. It wasn't because of the personal things. We all know that the ambassador of South Sudan to India represents our government and our interests too. Therefore, if he is coming like he has planned to come and visit us, that day we will have a direct contact so that we arrange like we had arranged today. That's what we were hoping and that's what we were looking into. It was not a personal thing that we at night we could be calling him and have another separate conversation. It was hard for us to gather all the students, Mr. Ambassador. That's why we were asking direct contact. We didn't know the exact programs which is going to happen. Is the ambassador coming to meet all the students, or is he coming only to meet the executive? Because he had come in for 3 times, and normally it's not all the general assembly that meet him. Therefore, that's why we were asking that if there could be a possibility that in case the ambassador comes, he should have a direct contact so that the chairman or the chairperson that represents students in this place could have a clue on what is going to be a program at the end of the day. So that if they need a student, the student will all be informed and they will all be present. So that they will listen to the words of advice that we have heard from the 2 of them today. So therefore, we will give you a chance of a talk. Your question, I think 1 question to 2 will be held now for 1 person, even 1 question. So I'll give a first chance to someone who is ready now to ask a question.
My name is Daniel. I'm here almost for 4 years. I'm here since the ambassador came for the first time. In the first meeting, he said one thing I still remember, that one of the embassy aim is to bring some investment into the country, like some medical assessment, educational assessment and all. So I want to know how far that the embassy went into that. How far that the embassy went into that investment towards the country.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ambassador, General Dutt. I'm Michael Alair. Well, I have 1 question, and I will emphasize on what General Dutt said before about marketing or trying to talk about South Sudan, we sell it out in India. In fact, that one is very, very, very clear, and I appreciate it, and we are working for the best of it. In fact, that one is very, very clear. Last year, I came last year, I have one here. I was talking with one of the lecturers from my college. What that lecturer told me, in fact, we don't know South Sudan. What we know is Sudan. Where did South come? And in fact, when we see the list of the African country, we still don't see South Sudan. And in fact, where did South come when there is no North? We see only South. It's not South Sudan, I mean. So that thing actually forced me to fund a little bit. I said, what we had North and South. And it was in fact going straight, that let's go to the website. What we had is South, and there is Sudan. So there is something wrong there, and I was today going to say my mind on it, because there is no time that one of us like this can say his mind. It's so political, but allow me just to say something. If we don't have North, why do we have South? And so, Mr. Ambassador and General Dutt, you should put down that point. If we don't have South, we should not have North. And so, my name is Real Sudan. We have Real Madrid, and there are Madrid somewhere. So, that is the point. Anyway, it's kind of different point, but you can take it. Marketing South Sudan will be difficult, and we will continue to do it because it's our country, we were born in, and there's no way we can escape it. That's it. Number two is about ICCR scholarship. We have many Africans here studying in Pune who are ICCR scholars. And coming to South Sudan, I see no one. So, when we ask in the college, there are no students here who are ICCR scholars here in Pune. And I do ask some of the people who benefit, and they say this ICCR is also working in all of East Africa. So we can be part of it. So I was suggesting why don't we take that chance to benefit from it? Because we have people now who are finishing, they need to go for masters. I heard there are possibilities too, that the ambassador or the embassy can deal with them. So if there is that opportunity, I hope we can explore and benefit from it. Thank you very much.
Let us just take them one by one, because they are very serious. Yes, in fact, all these, I just want to tackle things as they come. The questions which have been raised are very useful. And they will also bring a lot of discussion on scholarships. The first thing is investment. Why you wanted to find out whether there are investors who are or who went to South Sudan from India? Yes. The answer is yes. There are investors from India who are now in South Sudan. And even yesterday, the Indians who are constructing the road to Limni, they called me directly on my mobile and said they have a very specialized engineer in road construction in India, that they would like to be a member of the team, and therefore my office should facilitate a visa to let him go to Juba. I told him, yes, we are willing to do that, but there are formalities that should be fulfilled before the embassy gives a visa, which means your company must be authentically registered in South Sudan, and it should be have been approved by the Ministry of Justice in South Sudan, and here's a certificate of registration within the Ministry of Finance of South Sudan. These are the formalities. Otherwise, we are ready to give him a visa if all these things are done. There are also a lot of investors, Indian investors who are in South Sudan, especially you have the Oil and Natural Gas Corporation of India, the ONGC, the giant, the oil giant of India is in South Sudan. They have a big presence. They are mining 25% of our oil, and they are there. They are very good people. They also, apart from what the good things they are doing in South Sudan, they have given us on a yearly basis 5 scholarships, free scholarships in the field of petroleum and energy, and most of the universities here. Petroleum engineering. They want to train yearly 5 students from South Sudan to be engineers in petroleum. The first batch has come last year. They are in Uttarakhand, one of the states. 5-hour drive, 6-hour drive from Delhi. I went there myself to see them. Unfortunately, the 5 students, 4 boys and 1 girl, have not performed to the best ability that would have been appreciated by the sponsor being the ONGC. And then, because they really scored 0 mark in basic subjects, it leaves a lot to be desired. The university has decided that they be shifted to the protection of petroleum only. I was there to negotiate that degree. Letters have been written, and the letters, I took the letters to Juba, to the Minister of Mining and petroleum. They have accepted that these boys be channeled to do only petroleum production rather than overall petroleum engineering. The petroleum production is more or less practical, and I think they will do that. Because of the poor performance of those students, which has been taken across the board as being the standard of students in South Sudan, unfortunately, they did not take more students this year. A lot of debate is still going on into their continuation in taking our students. But we have said, we have to look at the students who know the English language, who have good marks in the basic subjects of engineering. The core subjects of engineering and petroleum in particular will be math, chemistry and physics. Chemistry and physics, and this is what they are looking at now. So we have lost this year because we are working towards the correction of what has happened. Having said that, I'm still working with them to see that by next year, 5 students come in and the process continues. Even there is a branch, I don't know what, is this microphone working?
Yeah, it's working.
Okay, fine. There is a branch of petroleum college here, where Jacob Alia is. And I think the ONGC came to that college, and they have agreed with them that all students could be accepted. But the formality is that the college, the professors have to go to South Sudan to select the students themselves rather than we selecting the students. Because the selection of those students was not good. Some people picked their relatives who are not qualified and they did not perform, to their dismay. We said that should not be repeated. Because what will it gain the Republic of South Sudan if you pick a relative who is not competent and discontinued? How do you feel? You disenfranchise the Republic of South Sudan by selecting somebody who is not qualified. Such practices have to come to an end. Any scholarships which are got here in India should be advertised and selection done transparently. This is what I always say. Otherwise, I will stop soliciting for the scholarships if they are not utilized in the way that satisfies the interests of the nation. That's one point. This brings me to what Michael said about ICCR scholarships. Yes, South Sudan has been given 7 scholarships by the Indian Council of Cultural Relations, which is abbreviated as ICCR. The 7 scholarships, 5 are undergraduate, that is basic degree in any course. 1 is a PhD, and I think 1 is a master kind of degree or in anything. But they told me, because I went to their office in Delhi, they told me that because you are a young nation, and because there are some African countries who do not utilize these scholarships, we can accept something up to 30 applicants from South Sudan. I took the applications myself. I went to South Sudan. I put them to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. The Minister of Foreign Affairs takes them to the Minister of Higher Education. The Minister of Higher Education supplied applications to some 10 students. And I was told by the Embassy of the Republic of India in Juba that, Ambassador Daniel, we have sent 10 applications from South Sudan students to the office of ICCR, which is the Indian Cultural Council for Cultural Relationship. And we have sent these applications to various universities in India for scrutiny. When the results came out in June, after scrutinizing these applications, only 1 person was successful. 1 out of 10 applicants or applications brought from South Sudan, only 1 person was qualified. And that person was qualified for agriculture. And I don't know whether he has come or not. Then one of the students who applied told me that, oh, Dr. Daniel, I said, yes, sir. What happened? We are disappointed that it's only one of us who has been accepted. I said, well, it's not in my hand. Because everything is processed through the Embassy of the Republic of India in Juba. And by the way, there is an English test there. I don't know how many marks they've got in that English test to be put. There is also a medical examination. I don't know whether they were medically fit, because it's strictly forbidden that these applications cannot pass through the Embassy of the Republic of South Sudan in India. They have to be done through the Embassy of the Republic of India in Juba to the ICCR. So for your information, we have 17 scholarships, free scholarships by the way, for that matter, and maybe a little bit more granted by the Indian Council of Cultural Education. We have not let down our country. We have worked very hard to see that we are included in this pot of free scholarships by ICCR. Unfortunately, I think we are not doing our homework well, and therefore we are losing out because of poor selection. So rest assured that we are doing our best to see that we get free scholarships, apart from appealing to all the universities. Wherever I go, I appeal to the university to take more South Sudanese students to their colleges. Of course, this is paid places, but I'm looking for free places. There are some children of poor people who are unable even to pay $500 for education. I want them to benefit from this place. But people do not see it this way. These free scholarships, even the sons of the ministers, they would like the sons to come for free scholarships, forgetting that there are children who are orphans, those who have died even in our liberation struggle, and those who have died now in this unnecessary war. We want their children to benefit from this. So I'm working very hard to get as free scholarships as possible for Portugal. Marketing South Sudan to the community, internet community media, is my sole responsibility. But I cannot do it in my own, or on my own, because I'm not everywhere. I'm not in all the states of this country. You see, if you behave well, and if you know your country very well, which I assume you all know very well, you in your capacities, in your own small ways, and in your own locations, you are the ambassadors of South Sudan. You have the right to tell the people that there is a young country which became independent on the 9th of July, 2011, known as South Sudan. And it is in the world map. There's no doubt about it. And it is in the book of the United Nations. We are number 193 in the United Nations. There is no way in which we can be denied. So, wherever you meet them, whoever who do not know about South Sudan, please explain to them that there is a country South Sudan. Also, we are working very hard to go into the televisions of this country. We are working very hard to go into the newspapers of this country to market our country. But this is an isolated kind of thing. You have to do it in a big way. Now, I don't want to say why there is all and there is not. I will leave this one to my colleague who came with me also.
Thank you. Well, I can hear your question is okay. If for marketing, the ambassador has answered, but I will also put some light on it. Marketing of South Sudan is our responsibility, all of us. You are here 65, we have been told that your number is 65. The role of 65 people will be more than the role of the ambassador or a general like me. Because here in Pune, when you are in the school, there will be a number of students from other countries, not alone India, they will be interested to ask you, where do you come from? And then from that question, you will promote, because you will be telling where you are coming from. That is enough. And that is your duty, because you see, we had a confidence on you, because you are a grown-up people, you are mature enough, you know what you are doing here. And a student of university is somebody who knows everything. So we are not hearing about, we know that you will promote our, and the ambassador has talked about. The issue of, I will leave South and North later on. I will talk about the issue of ICCR, which you have mentioned. Ambassador Daniel talk about it. And also you have forgotten also something. He tried to push it hard, but he failed. When we came to this country, 2012, the Minister of Education of this country offered us capacity building of 90 people. Am I correct?
Yes.
Offered South Sudan capacity building for 90 people. It was played down. There was no a single person who was nominated and came here. So, brothers and sisters, there are a lot of things which are not taking place in a correct manner, but let us be patient. Our child was just born 2 years back, or 3 years back. He's now trying to work, but fall down and get up again. So the issue of education, because capacity building, you see, it is an upgradation. There will not be those who are coming to study at the level of university, but they will do something equivalent to the standard of capacity building. That is capacity building of what? There must be a field of you doing capacity building. But the Minister of Education didn't take it seriously. And that's why it has just gone. The issue of investors, you see, from 2012 to 2013, there were a good number of investors who were interested to go to South Sudan. But unfortunately, war of December had stopped everything. Even you yourself, who are here, if you have money, you cannot go and invest in a country whereby there is no security. Because you have to protect that your money. You cannot be investing in a country whereby you never know what will happen tonight. And then you have risk. You have risked your money. But later on, let us pray, peace will come. Our country is, most of the people wanted to go there because there are people who have a lot of money in the bank. And he had nothing to do with it unless he goes and invests in a country, a new country like ours. Coming to South without North, well, the geographical dimension are always there. There is North, there is East, and then South, and then West, and then North, East, South, West, East, whatever. These are geographical names given. But in our case, Michael earlier, and I think so you asked your question, and you know part of it. We were supposed to be Sudan, because the name of Sudan is ours. when the Turkish people came first, that was 18 something. That is the area we got the name of Sudan, because that area from Chendi, our fathers and grandfathers used to tell us that Chendi is a Dinka name, is Chandi. It's a place of somebody called Chandi. A Dinka, when somebody is reaching the 50 years, 60 years, you don't call him Filan. Something very negative. You have to do something to feel that he's being honored. So that was a place of somebody called Chandi. Our brothers came in because Eugene, I and Daniel, we were taught something called Dukul al-Arab in Sudan. Some of you might have heard it, but our history, Sudan, the history of Sudan, there is a paragraph saying Dukul al-Arab, the entry of the Arab into our country. Means that they were not there. We were the people who were there. So the place Chendi belonged to Chendi. Come to Khartoum, that is Khartoum. This river is coming this way, this river is coming this way. And then they meet in the middle. So Jalaba Bigulu, the Khartoum al-Fil, that is the elephant tusk. No, it is the two rivers meeting. There is a place called Tuti. If some of you have been to Khartoum, Tuti take it here, Tuti. It's a Nwera who was saying there, called Tuti. But our brother tried to push us away from those places. And then we fought the war I had mentioned before. We fought for those number of years. And then when we went for Naibacha, it was so difficult. It was very difficult because by then I was a clearance officer in the SRRA Nairobi office. So I used to go to Machakos. The negotiation started in Machakos. And then from Machakos, people went to a place called Nyanyuki. And then from Nyanyuki to Nakuru. And then from Nakuru to Naibacha. There was no way for us to get the name of Sudan. And we were fighting for the liberation of whole Sudan. It was just a covered thing. We were not intending to liberate the whole Sudan. But we made it for others to support us. Because you see, a separatist, nobody will support you. But when you are fighting for the whole country, and you want to dismantle the system which was already there, and this system is not accommodative, it's not accommodating all the people, then you come up with the mechanism of liberating the whole lot. But in your heart, you are fighting to liberate yourself, and you got it. So Michael Alier, you just take your South Sudan without North. What you need, that is your country. And if somebody is asking you, where is your North? Just bring a figure to Khartoum. Khartoum is in northern Sudan. But by that, it is not in the map. But you say that is the North and we are the source. Because our objective is that to get our freedom. So if we are given a source without North, you don't mind about it. Mind about what we need, that is our country. And you are here now, very proud about it. You move, your head is there because you got your independence. I'm here before you. When we were fighting, I went to so many places. for the reason which I will not tell you, that some of the African countries, later on some of you may go there because you are now coming up. You will ask yourself, how come I didn't get a country? There are people here who have, you see, independent, sovereignty, something like it. I cannot mention. And even if you don't eat and you have a country, there is nothing like it. You are here, so Sudanese students from our country. We are very proud. That is, if I satisfy you earlier or not, that is my answer. Take your source. Don't mind about the other geographical names. But that Shumalde, that is the north, and we are the south. And let him or her quarrel you or do whatever. What I can add, and Brother Daniel will talk about it. If there are students among you who are not attending the classes, please, you are an